I'm live. It's kind of hard to see because the sun is coming through my screen here. But as you might know, in the past, I've made comments regarding the Iliad and the Odyssey. Shut up, bird. The Iliad and the Odyssey, which I read, that had some very bizarre references to what sounded like spacecraft coming out of the water. And now that I've read Jason and the Argonauts, it's got some bizarre stuff in it too. And this is the Argonautica, also called Jason and the Argonauts, written by Apollonius of Rhodes. And there's not much online when you search the tidbits that I'm going to read to you in this. There's not much explanation as to what these lines mean, but I'm going to give you some background. So yesterday I read about um, Apollo's tripod, which apparently Apollo's tripod was some kind of a altar for sacrifice. But the one part that struck me as weird is it said that they were going to send Apollo's tripod so deep into the earth that no human could get to it. Now, that could be just simply dropping it in the ocean because they were out in the ships and things. But the way it was written, it sounded like it was some kind of craft that was going to hide at the bottom of the ocean and then be there for his use whenever he wanted it, but no one could mess with it. So I wasn't so sure yesterday, but then I got to this segment today and it got really bizarre. So this is Poseidon's swift-wheeled car. So I don't know about you, but I think about something written 1,000+ years ago. I don't think of a god having a car with swift wheels on it. So I'm going to read you this segment here. Let's see, where should I start? Listen, friends, as I lay in my grief, three goddesses girded with goat skins from the neck downwards, round the back and waist like maidens, stood over my head nigh at hand, and they uncovered me, drawing my cloak away with light hand, and they bade me rise up myself and go and rouse you and pay to our mother's bounteous recompense for all her travail, when she bare us so long in her womb, when Amphitrite shall have loosed Poseidon's swift-wheeled car. But I cannot fully understand concerning this divine message. So even back then, they didn't know what Poseidon's swift-wheeled car was and how it was going to be loosed. So it says, they said indeed that they were heroines, Libya's warders and daughters, and all the toils that we endured aforetime by land and sea, all these that they declared that they knew full well. Then I say them no more in their place, but a mist or cloud came between and hid them from my sight. Thus he spake, and all marveled as they heard. Then was wrought for the Minye the strangest of portents. Now here's where it gets real weird here. From the sea to the land leapt forth a monstrous horse of vast size with golden mane. So I don't know of any real horses with golden manes, tossing around his neck, and quickly from his limbs he shook off abundant spray and started on his course with feet like the wind. And at once Peleus rejoiced and spake among the throng of his comrades, I deem that Poseidon's ear has even now been loosed by the hands of his dear wife, and I divine that our mother is none else than our ship herself. For surely she bare us in her womb and groans unceasingly with grievous travailing, but with unshaken strength and untiring shoulders will we lift her up and bear her within this country of sandy wastes, where yon swift-footed steed has sped before, for he will not plunge beneath the earth, and his hoof prints, I ween, will point us to some bay above the sea. A bay above the sea. What kind of bay is above the sea? I mean, it sounds like it's talking about in the sky to me. It sounds like Poseidon's swift-wheeled car is some kind of vehicle, and then it came out of the water, and they're describing it as a massive horse It doesn't sound like a human-sized horse. It sounds like a really, really big-ass horse, a monstrous horse of vast size with gold mane tossing around his neck. Something flew out of the water, and somehow it did something with their ship that allowed them to fly into another port. So, yeah, there's some weird crap going on in these old books. Iliad, the Odyssey, Argonautica. These things don't make any sense. And if you Google what is Poseidon's swift-wheeled car, you won't see anything in there. I wonder why, because nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. When you look up Poseidon's horse, they theorize that horses were introduced into that region at that time and somebody got credit for it or whatever, but this isn't a horse they're talking about. It's not, I mean, why would a horse come running out of the ocean anyway? It just doesn't make any sense. And flying away with swift feet or whatever. So anyway, that's my exploration of ancient aliens here. My phone's reading, but cool. Read Green Eggs and Ham. Yeah, I know I'm reading serious stuff. I gotta go, Johan. My phone's ringing. Okay, ancient aliens, Jason, and then Argonauts.